Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Hot Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about a new film I just heard about called Civil War. That's supposed to be coming out sometime in spring of 2024, starring Kirsten Dunst as some journalist. That Jesse dude who was in the season of Fargo, I believe he played her husband in that season. I want to say he also played in like Breaking Bad at the end of the series and stuff like that. He's in that as a soldier guy. You got the dude from The Office. Or was it The Office? Parks and Rec. That's who it was. Nick Offerman as the President of the United States. And yeah, this whole thing just screams of predictive programming, honestly, from Hollywood yet again. And typical to Hollywood's predictive programming, they act in this trailer, which I'm not going to show the trailer, obviously, for copyright infringement reasons, what it is. But it can be found out there. You go to Twitter, X, whatever the case be, just look up Civil War there. It'll pop almost immediately. It's already trending on there. You can go to Rumble and look up Civil War film, and I'm sure it'll pop up there as well. Hell, you could probably go to some part of YouTube here and look up the shit too, for that matter. But yeah, basically, the gist of it is, I watched the trailer. It doesn't look too bad. It's the only thing I will say about it, though, obviously, is people are saying, obviously, with Obama's recent Leave the World Behind movie that came out, which is produced by Barack and Michelle Obama, is what it is, and their stupid ass company there, and basically that's predictive programming as well, about like Chinese hack attacks on this country and stuff like that. So yeah, they're definitely, the globalists and their puppets like that are 100% ramping us up for something in 2024, and whether that be, an actual Civil War, martial law style, whatever the case be, it'll be interesting to see. But I will be discussing this for a few minutes here from this dude's Twitter account here that posted about the whole movie here is what it is, which is, they say, Civil War, a new film coming to America in spring 2024. Here are takeaways and thoughts. In the movie, 19 states appear to have succeeded from the Union and are called the, quote, Western Forces, and then it says California and Texas, as well as the Florida Alliance. They appear to be in a war against the U.S. government. The Western Forces will reach the White House on the 4th of July. The U.S. military appears to be activated in fighting against Americans to the point of dropping airstrikes on American citizens. At the 8-second mark, there is a radio broadcast where they talk about a 3-term president, which, the whole thing, I'm going to break that one down real quick, actually, here. It's not like we haven't had 3-term presidents in the past. I believe the last one was actually Franklin Delano Roosevelt, if I'm not mistaken. And then it became a thing where you couldn't do more than 2 terms after. That's what it is there. Which, again, it would depend on how the Constitution is, potentially rewritten, suspended, whatever the case be, to make a 3-term presidency. I'd also like to point something out, too, on that one, is a lot of what's being put in this movie, it seems like, is the exact same shit as the movie, or as the TV series that came out a few years ago that it should have been based on, which was DMZ. And it was basically a comic book of the same name, where it was a demilitarized zone. And basically, in that comic, the DMZs are demilitarized zones. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now for a second here to talk about the sort of cross-coalition stuff is what it is there and whatnot. Yeah, it was DMZ is an American comic book series written by Brian Wood. The series is set in the near future where a second American Civil War has turned the island of Manhattan into a demilitarized zone, or DMZ, caught between forces of the United States of America and secessionist Free States of America. It says DMZ was published by DC Comics under the Vertigo imprint in 2005. It says after garnering increased recognition for a string of creator-owned comics, and runs on major commercial labels, writer-illustrator Brian Wood enjoyed a breakout success at the acclaimed Youngling series Demo in 2003-04, opening. Okay, doesn't really matter. It's all development history there is what it is. This is what a synopsis of it becomes, the whole thing right here. So I want to talk about here, this part of it. It says, set in New York City, sometime in the near future, in the midst of the Civil War that has turned the island of Manhattan into a demilitarized zone, The conflict concerns two primary forces, the federal government of the United States and the Free States armies. In issue 2, it's explained the Free States are less a geographical entity than an idea, and the movement began with an uprising of secessionist groups that formed a separatist government in Montana before spreading across the country. The Free Armies and the U.S. military first meet in combat at Allentown, Pennsylvania, where the Free Armies won, after which the Free Armies descended on New York. The planned evacuation of Manhattan went disastrously wrong. Despite that, U.S. Army was finally able to halt the advance of the Free States forces. Said there was even a sense amongst troops of the U.S. forces were ready to start reclaiming territory from and pushing back against Free States Army until the calamity of day 204 when a squad of U.S. soldiers mistakenly gunned down nearly 200 peaceful protesters. With the U.S. robbed of all the momentum and the public support for the advance, the two sides settled into an uneasy stalemate where Manhattan is the location of the DMZ between the two warring parties, with the Free States Army occupying territory including New Jersey and inland, and the United States holding Brooklyn, Long Island, and other parts unknown, etc., etc. So yeah, this very much sounds like sort of the Civil War movie to some extent. Like it sounds like it sort of took their premises from the DMZ comic, is what it is. But at the same time, going back to what was also said in this dude's post about the Civil War film here, you have, let's see, it's at the 41 mark in the trailer. There is a map in the reflection which appears to depict the factions represented by blue and red colors. I'd also like to point something out really weird in this movie too, the Civil War movie. So I forget what mark of the movie it is. They show a U.S. flag that literally has 2 stars on it. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just super duper weird, dude, in general. Like, that is like pure predictive programming at that point. So 51-second mark, there is a sign on the building that says Jesus Saves. Story appears to follow a team of journalists possibly trying to expose what's going on. Quote, they shoot journalists on site at the Capitol. This person here, this MJ, whatever the fuck their name is there, said, my thoughts, the movie is a combination of Obama's film, Leave the World Behind, is not a coincidence. Is this a big red pill? Or are they going to instill fear in the hearts and minds of Americans? Don't know, but it appears Americans are being prepped for something very big. Do not be afraid. I'm not afraid, neither should you be. That's what the guy said here. But yeah, like I said, it looks good, man, honestly. Like, it does look good. Like I said, like right there, as you see the fucking like 2-state flag is what it is. Or 2-star flag. It's just very creepy in general. So, but yeah, we'll just zip through some of this. And apparently it's made by the dudes that did 28 Days Later and stuff like that. And yeah, you got that Jesse dude. Right? This is what I thought was interesting here, where this Jesse dude is in this with like the crazy looking ruby red glasses, what it is there. And you got the journalist guy talking about being an American. He's like, oh yeah? Which kind of American? And it's like, the hell kind of fucked up question is that, bro? Like, that's some fucked up shit, dog. So, yeah, legitimately, it's pretty wild, man. It looks pretty nuts. It looks like it could be a good film, though, honestly. It sort of reminds me of The Purge a little bit, to some extent. And I will say this, though, like, the fact that you have at the beginning of the trailer here, like, some chick talking about how they just want to stay out of things is what it is there. In whatever area they're in is what it would be then. Is very interesting. I also want to point something else out here in the comment section that this one guy brought up there, because obviously it said Texas and California would be in the same fucking coalition or whatever there. Yeah, that's not true at all, as this guy pointed out too. It said Texas and California would never be on the same side. Texas and Florida would be on the same side along with other freedom-loving red states, California, D.C., and not sure if that's New Hampshire or what that is. Would be the Access Powers. Yeah, probably. Would be New York and stuff like that for sure, honestly. But that's the whole point, dude. Like, and I've talked about this before, right? Like, you will, truthfully, like, if we ever do have an actual civil war break out in this country, it's never going to go how that movie described it there, dude. Because, first of all, there's a bunch of U.S. military that were never going to fire on citizens, dude, especially not their own family and friends, as it is there. So, first off, you would have, like, truthfully, I would think it'd be more like that Alex Jones movie, Amerigeddon, from years ago, where you would simply just have a whole bunch of military defect is what it is then, and just take their shit with them, honestly. I can see that happening across the board quite a bit, honestly. At least, like, I would say at least probably 50% or more would simply say, nah, fuck that dude. And you may even have, like, privates shooting fucking generals in the back and shit like that to deal with the fucking situation at hand is what it would be then. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. If we just had people that were like, nah, I'm not putting up with this general, whatever the case be. And the general's like, does that go for the rest of you? And some dude just like, bang. And then you just have like a squad of guys doing whatever there. And actually, that Jesse dude's character in that movie, it really reminds me of just like somebody who would be not really like U.S. government per se, like U.S. military per se for that matter, but like somebody who has defected from U.S. military and is basically under their kind of own command and being like, yeah, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want to these people because we can, basically. And yeah, the whole thing just seems, like I said, very, very strange in general. I find it very suspicious that this is now coming out right now and being talked about for the springtime this coming year is what it is here. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know if it's the AI fucking with human beings at this point now or what it is, dude, but it definitely feels like something's going on in the background. Maybe Skynet has become active for all the fuck we know at this point. And it's just Skynet doing like fucking various fuckery with its little robot hands and shit like that. And, just basically doing like 2-3 steps away from actual Terminators is what it is then. And at the same time they're, building Terminators in the back of the fucking warehouse or whatever. And in the front of the fucking place, it's basically, just like, oh, yeah, it's just this regular AI kind of thing, whatever the case be. It's already taken over is what it is then. So, I don't know. I think we're in for bad times ahead, honestly. I'll say that as much. And I think we're definitely heading for a weird place in society pretty soon. And honestly, I'm going to break it down right now for a couple minutes before I finish off this episode real quick. I think if we actually do get a civil war in this country, it will never be like it once was back in the 1800s where it was, red state versus blue state. You're going to have rural red areas of all states being against the blue major cities in those states. That's what civil war is going to look like, dude. You're going to have states fighting within themselves is what it is. All 50 states across the board right now. And then it will be various alliances that are close enough to each other from those states that would actually be able to form, a various coalition of some kind is what it would be then. But yeah, I think honestly, if I was to say right now what I think the first 7 days of civil war would look like in this country, it would just be bloodshed in the streets, honestly, legitimately. You wouldn't know who's friend and who's foe for the first week or so, give or take. Maybe even longer than that. And then by then, you would basically just have everybody being like sort of gassed out and being like, I don't know who to trust anymore. And yeah, you may have some places where it's just people, have sort of opted out is what it is there and just try to like be rural enough to where they're basically have like patrols going on every, hour of the day is what it is then. And they're basically just trying to keep their shit together is what it is there. So I could also very much see it being like small towns being locked off and stuff like that. Like that movie, God, what's that called now? Stakeland, where you had the dudes with the train, where it was like train tracks around the town or whatever, and you had like the train in front of the in and out area of the town there for the entrance. I could easily see it being something like that, man, where you just have like rural areas and stuff like that being like, no, we're going to protect ourselves and just have like armed watch and stuff like that everywhere as it'll be in like a town. And it's just like, let the cities come to us kind of thing as it would be then. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I said before, though, I believe the pendulum's going to swing very soon. And it's going to snap when it does. And I don't see anybody being unscathed from this when it's all said and done. And if that means that's what it takes to actually make America a great nation again, that's what it means, honestly. But truthfully, I think you're definitely going to have a lot of people not make it out at all. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to die unnecessarily when they don't need to. And it's all because of a bunch of jackasses that just want to fuck over the world is what it is. It's all a bunch of demon pedophiles legitimately that make up what is known as the Bilderberg Group is what it is. Your Soroses, your Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all these globalist types like that. In league with all these pieces of shit like Obama, Biden, all these people like that who have gone full demon, embraced Satanism, and are just pushing their agendas one day closer to being reality in this country, honestly. You know, somebody said, we were watching a video last night in Honda's chat, actually, and it was some dude made a video on, I forget what social media platform it was, like a year or so ago after Uvalde happened. And he was talking about American gun ownership and what it really means to, you know, deal with tyranny and stuff like that. And then basically saying, you know, never giving up your guns and everything else like that. But then at the same time, it was the reason that you haven't seen these countries overseas like Britain or England or whatever it is there fall is because they're not the first domino. America is. And once America's domino falls, the rest are going to fucking topple in line is what it is there. And that's exactly why we Americans are fighting so hard to keep our Second Amendment rights here is what it is. And he's very much right about that, honestly. So, anyway. I don't know. Like I said, it looks like it could be a good film overall. What it actually reminded me of, there was a movie that was supposed to be made years ago, and then the guy that was the director of it supposedly killed his family and then himself. This was all in Obama's administration, by the way, but there was also talk during that time that there was very possibly a hit squad by the Obama administration ordered to kill this guy and his family to stop them from making this movie is what it was, which would make a lot more sense, honestly, given the fact that the source material of that film was legitimately about basically government takeover at the time. And I'm trying to think what it was called offhand, because then they actually did make like a retarded documentary based on the actual what was filmed at the time or whatever. And that was all total predictive programming too, for that matter, at the end of the day. That stupid ass documentary they made out of that one then. But it was actually like the original concept trailer for that movie was really fucking good and really fucking creepy, honestly. And like I said, sort of partially reminded me of the Civil War trailer. So I wouldn't be surprised by it. Sorry, I'm trying to find that actual thing. Gray State, that's what it was called. Yeah, I just found the thing, because then they made a documentary out of it called Gray State, even though it wasn't a good documentary at all. But yeah, the original concept trailer of that fucking film, though, dude, was super creepy. Let's see if I can find it here now. Not even sure if it'll let me. Oh no, here it is right there. Okay, it is here on YouTube. Okay, cool. Yeah, because that's what it was. They combined some of the actual film footage of the thing into the actual documentary then. But yeah, the actual original. Okay, here's the actual concept trailer that I just saw now. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's it's on this dude's channel from a decade ago here. Let's see if I can grab this up real quick to present to you guys. Yeah, if you actually want to watch that concept trailer, it's called Gray State official concept trailer number 1. It's on this person's YouTube channel here from 10 years ago. Like I said, it's a great concept trailer because it basically covers everything, dude, from, chip implantation in our arms and stuff like that to, the Chinese social credit score stuff and stuff like that nowadays and so forth and so on. So, yeah, I would not be surprised in the least if that dude and his family were murdered over that shit, dude, because it would make a lot more sense then. Oh, I see that motherfucker Duke is corking me right now, talking about the Civil War trailer too. Ah, ah. But anyway, we should totally go with full like conception right now, or whatever they call that one. So, what is that called? No, it's Inception. That's what it is. Like Duke's corking us, so we're just gonna fucking throw his chat on in the background. Nah, I'm just fucking around though. But now I'll go. Now that I know that, now that I actually know that that's going on right now, I will definitely finish up here then if that'll be the case. But yeah, like I said though, this Civil War movie looks fucking crazy though, dude. Like they're definitely priming us for some shit right now is what it is. So anyway. But yeah, that being said, that's where we're at for the day. Matt's going to be going live here in about 20 minutes, give or take. So I will be over there listening to his chat and probably falling asleep is my guess because I'm pretty tired right now. Actually, I haven't gotten a lot of good sleep today is what it is. I had some stuff going on in the game I played this morning that fucked up my sleep schedule real bad. And then, of course, it didn't really matter in the long run because we basically our whole entire region shit the bed on that one and didn't win nothing. So it is what it is. But yeah, that being said, that's where we're at for the day, though. Again, be back tomorrow for Buckshot, obviously, for the third time today since we've done 3 of these grandstands. We talked about that. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow talking about for Buckshot Thursday. We'll talk more about this movie actually then with Corey, I think. See if he watches the trailer, and then I'm not sure what the legality is of watching trailers on the thing is what it is, so I'm not even going to bother with it because I don't want to get hit with 10 fucking copyright claims or something like that by YouTube is what it is here. So, but yeah, this movie definitely looks very predictive programming for sure, and it'll be interesting to see what happens though. But like I said, I really don't see military unless it's the ones that Dick Durbin wants at this point, which is basically a bunch of illegal aliens in our military there that don't give a shit about American citizens or our Constitution that would fire on us. Like if it was a bunch of fucking Latinos or whatever the case be, speaking fucking Spanish and shit like that, I could totally see that one, honestly, dude. Or if it's a bunch of fucking, literal Chinese mercenaries and stuff like that that are being put in the U.S. Army that are clearly like Chinese military is what it is, being like, hey, you over there, and shit like that, and then just like a bunch of fucking Chinese speak is what it is then. And those guys would definitely fire American citizens what to be then. So, and that would, I could actually see that being a thing where you'd have kind of 2 standing armies kind of thing as it would be then, where it'd be the actual free armies of all the U.S. military dudes that defected and took all their shit with them then. And wiped out a bunch of armories and stuff like that too on their way out the door kind of thing, where it's just like a truck with a bunch of guns and, grenades and shit in the back of it, RPGs, etc. there. And then a few of their people would also be, flying around the F-16s and stuff like that could actually do airstrikes on, the shitty armies would be then. That would be all these foreign national standing army then for the U.S. military. And yeah, you would have dogfights like that where you weren't sure who was who in the F-16s and stuff like that, or F-35s, whatever they are now. I'm not even sure anymore. But yeah, it's just, shit could get real crazy real quick, honestly. And like I said, this is one thing. This is why I believe truthfully, no single American has kicked anything off yet, because everybody understands that when it's all said and done, it's basically mutually assured destruction. It's kind of like everybody having nukes across the world right now. One country uses nukes, everybody's going to use fucking nukes then. It's the same thing here. One person or a group of people kick shit off, whatever the case be, then it's fucking game on and we're all fucked is what it'd be then. So, but that being said, I think it's inevitable that it's going to be government kicking something off eventually, dude, here. And it's going to be them learning the hard way that you don't fuck with patriotic patriotic people in this country, honestly, dude. That you should have just left Americans the fuck alone is what it is, dude, and stop taxing us to death is what it is there. So, anyway, that's about it for today, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Come back tomorrow for Buckshot Thursday, and have a good night, y'all. And go check out Never Enough Ammo. Later.